Oops. Good evening, everyone. Boy, that's a good one. Could I get everyone's attention for a moment? I'd like to welcome everyone to the 2026 U.S. Croquet Hall of Fame Induction and Gala. Tonight is special for many reasons. We are here to honor two greats of the sport. You'll be hearing much more about their remarkable achievements later in the program, but first, I want to begin with something very simple. Thank you. Thanks to all who have supported our fundraising, volunteered, and helped to grow not only this event, but also the New Stuber Classic Tournament and all of our other programs. Because of your generosity, donations totaling more than $2 million in the last 2 years, we are adding 5 new courts, 25 parking spaces, new night lighting for 7 courts. They're going to go all the way around here. A beautiful grand pavilion right out there with restrooms and a patio, as well as many new enhancements to the clubhouse itself. And that's, of course, subject to your continued financial support. These are not just improvements to a facility, they're investments in the future of croquet. And that's the sport we all love. I'm pleased also to announce that the CFA board has accepted my recommendation for a revised organization structure. We're moving from chairman, CEO, and president, CEO roles to the standard and recommended management structure for an organization like ours of president, vice president, secretary, and treasurer. And I'm delighted to announce that the following people will serve in these new roles: Nancy Sanzalone, president; John Bannister, vice president; Allison Worthington, secretary; and Don Allison, treasurer. Now that's a management team, and I wholeheartedly support this team. I've agreed to remain on the board as chairman emeritus with Hal Denton as president emeritus, and both of us ex officio. And I have one more surprise. I'll still be involved in fundraising. Sorry about that. Let's see, where am I? Page 4. One of the great privileges of leadership is knowing when it's time to pass the torch. I may be a little late, as usual, but after 20 years, I step into this next chapter with full confidence, knowing this organization and this wonderful facility is in excellent hands. That confidence is strengthened by the addition of Frank Meunier, our new CEO. In a remarkably short time, Frank has made significant contributions to the operations of this center. More importantly, he brings a vision and leadership for what comes next. So it is my great pleasure now to introduce Frank, who has done a magnificent job of putting this whole event together for us tonight. Frank?
So good evening, and on behalf of the Croquet Foundation of America, the board of directors, and all the staff, it is my true honor to welcome everybody here tonight, like David said, to the 2026 U.S. Croquet Hall of Fame here at the National Croquet Center. And like he said, this is unique and special in so many different ways. One of them is that tonight is our largest gala ever with 200 people tonight. So thank you so much. Definitely, it says a lot about what this evening is all about, but also about our two remarkable inductees. I know a lot of you also traveled from across the country to be here, so thank you so much for making the journey. And I personally want to welcome you to what I call my home in this National Croquet Center that is more than a beautiful venue. This is a place where different entities live, breathe, and work together. The CFA, like the USCA and the National Croquet Club. So you have these three organizations that play a vital role in what we do here in the epicenter of croquet in the country. The CFA operates this place and advances through its charitable mission to promote social croquet to people, to guests. Like last year alone, we welcomed 5,000 guests that had never played croquet here. The USCA governs the sport of America and brings national and international recognition to the sport here on this venue. And our National Croquet Club stands as the largest private croquet club and is the heart and soul of what we do here. Together, these entities form a true partnership, a symbiosis that makes this place the true center of excellence of croquet. So talking of excellence, this is what we celebrate tonight. Excellence is not just about winning a game, improving your D grade, and winning a few games. It is really about how are you going to demonstrate your leadership, your coaching, mentorship, leadership, and inspiring others. It is all about elevating the sport, and that's what our Hall of Fame inductees embody every single day. So before we continue, I would like to invite all our previous inductees who are with us tonight to please stand up so we may recognize you with our respect and gratitude for everything you've done for the world of croquet. You are the foundation on which this legacy stands. So if you have a red jacket, please stand up. Thank you so much. I hope you're really going to enjoy the program that our team put together tonight. Let's begin our evening celebration. It is my pleasure to invite Bev Carlo, President of USCA, to come to the mic. Thank you. Have a great evening.
Well, this is one of the most special evenings of the year for me. The Hall of Fame represents our highest recognition of those in our sport. It's about those whose accomplishments reach well beyond their own victories and achievements. It is about the contributions to the sport and to the people who play it, which leave a meaningful and lasting impact. It is my honor as president of the USCA to share a few words about those whom we are inducting tonight. We are proud to induct David Maloof this evening, who is unquestionably David Maloof is unquestionably regarded as one of the greatest competitors of his generation, and David's influence extends well beyond the court. As he continues to teach and inspire the next generation of aspiring athletes. David is one of the finest coaches I know. He has developed many players into strong and confident competitors through his encouragement, mentoring, and helping them believe in their own potential. That's a gift. We also honor the life and legacy of Carla Rueck, inducted posthumously this evening. Last year, while Carla was still with us, she received the USCA Award for Croquet Ambassador, and that award will now continue on in her name as the Carla P. Rueck Croquet Ambassador Award. Croquet was more than a game for Carla. It was a life calling. She served as USCA board member for 11 years, first as secretary and then as second vice president. Not only was her work foundational to the organization, her spirit of her optimism infused energy into it. I'm pretty sure most of you here would agree that nobody would have worn the red jacket more proudly than Carla. We celebrate her tonight with great fondness and admiration. And at this point, I would like to call up Randy Cardo, Tom Balding, Billy Rueck, Joe Papaleo, and Dick Brackett to come and take part in the presentation for Carla. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. It's been my honor, and Beth's as well, to bring forward the nomination of Carla Rueck for induction into the Croquet Hall of Fame this evening. When we first spoke with Carla about the possibility, she had trouble receiving the idea. She did not see herself the way the rest of us did. We assured her that she is a very strong candidate, but she was nervous and humbled by the thought of it. The day I called her, the day I called to tell her that it was official, she was overwhelmed with joy. It meant more to her than she could express. Although she is not here with us tonight, we can all be assured how honored she felt and how much it meant to her to know that she would be remembered in this way. I personally first met Carla in 2013 when I joined the West Hampton Maloof Club. I was brand new to the game that spring, and Carla immediately reached out. She invited me to play in the games, coached me along the way, and encouraged me to play with stronger players that would help develop my game. I came to learn that my story wasn't unique. Carla did this for many, many others. Through her involvement at several clubs, Carla left a lasting imprint on the game. She created programs like Wednesday Singles at West Hampton Maloof Club, Croquet in the Park at New York Croquet Club, Carla's coaching at the National Croquet Center, club ladders, mini tournaments, and visiting instruction program at the PGA. She used these programs to inspire players at every level, not only to help them improve, but also to have fun. Her love of the game was contagious. Off the court, Carla's contributions were just as significant. She joined the PGA in 2007 as a new croquet player and immediately stepped into leadership, serving as corresponding secretary, education chair, and newsletter editor. Over the years, she served on the boards of the PGA, West Hampton Maloof Club, New York Croquet Club, and the USCA. From 2014 through 2025, Carla served on the USCA Management Committee, first as secretary for 7 years, then as second vice president. She chaired the Education Committee, helped to develop the traveling instructor program, strengthened certification standards for instructors and referees, and established guidelines for the designated coach position. She also led the committee that awards the Teddy Prentice Award for Excellence in Instruction. Carla was instrumental in creating separate tracking for women in the Grand Prix, now known as the Jackie Jones Award. She was directly responsible for that. And I'd also like to acknowledge that Jackie is here with us tonight. This ensured that women's accomplishments in the sport were properly recognized. She brought incredible energy to everything she was involved in. Since 2012, she served on the Hall of Fame Gala Committee and took great pride, almost a personal challenge, in surpassing fundraising goals for selling raffle tickets and journal ads. In 2022, the USCA recognized Carla with a Certificate of Appreciation for outstanding volunteer effort and service to the sport. Carla was an American Rules Class 3 certified instructor and a Class 2 certified referee. With guidance from Jeff Sue and Johnny Osborne, she became a skill tournament director and went on to manage tournaments here at the NCC for the CFA and the USCA. But what made Carla special, truly special, wasn't just the list of titles or accomplishments. It was her love for the game and the people who played it. As Linda Sundberg so perfectly said, I admire Carla for her commitment and her many, many contributions to the sport of croquet in this country. Carla didn't have a lot of money. She wasn't an elite player, but she cared and contributed as much as anyone in the game. In closing, I'd like to say that bringing Carla's nomination forward has felt less like a formal process and more like an opportunity to make sure that her extraordinary and unique impact on croquet is properly remembered and celebrated. I'd like to just invite Tom Balding up to give a personal story. Thanks.
Hello, everybody. First off, thank you for allowing me this opportunity to speak about Carla. I'm going to do the best I can without getting too emotional, and I'm going to try to keep it brief. The thesis statement, if I had to have one, of what I'm about to say is the fact that I'm standing here at this podium, that I know any of you, that I've been able to accomplish anything in this sport, is because Carla Rueck took it upon herself not to mind her business. And she was very good at that. The first tournament I ever played, which I fell into by happenstance, I met Carla, and I had the honor of playing her in the finals in second flight, back on Long Island in 6 wicket. And the story would normally end there with most people, but she came to me at the lunch afterwards, and she said, "Where do you live?" And I said, "Oh, I live out here in Suffolk County." And she was like, "Oh, that's pretty close to my club. You're going to come with me to the opening ceremony, and I'm going to introduce you to the board members, and we're going to get past that pesky little wait list, and we're going to get you in the club." And she didn't ask it like, "Do I want to do that?" She just said, "We're going to do that." And I said, "Okay." And so I went with her a couple of weeks after that. I met the Cardos, the Cornacias, the Spratt, all these people that have become important to me. And they let me in the club, and I actually figured out how to get to tournaments and what to do. And the first time I ever came here was actually staying with Carla, and she introduced me to so many of you that I see now. And I don't think I would have found my way had it not been for her just taking a chance on me. I don't think I did anything at the time to deserve it. She just did good for me because she thought it might be nice. I didn't learn until later that she did this with, I wasn't the first adoptee by any stretch of the imagination. This was a hobby of hers. But if I've been able to do anything in this sport, be good to any of you and, have received good from you, it's because that woman chose to do something for me that she didn't have to. And she chose to be good to me and give me this life that I now live. And David Maloof has been important to me. So many of you have done good for me. But I would have never had the opportunity even to be there if it hadn't been for Carla just grabbing me by the collar and saying, "You're going to come with me and you're going to do these things I tell you to do." Because I know better. And she did know better. And I'm blessed that I got the opportunity while she was alive to say thank you. But I don't think thank you was enough. Probably for most of us, she did something for us where thank you wasn't enough, and that's why we're all here tonight. But I just wanted to let you all know that we lost a good friend, a good woman. She did more for us than she ever took for herself, and she deserves everything she's receiving here tonight, and it's an honor for me to be able to tell you that, and I just hope wherever she is, she's enjoying croquet with all of our other departed friends, and I hope we all spend the rest of our lives trying to live up to the example she set for us and do as good unto others as she's done unto us. So thank you for the opportunity to say that, and God bless you.
Alrighty. I'm gonna go on script here. Hold on. All right. For the last 20 years, if you closed your eyes at the West Hampton Mallet Club, the New York Croquet Club, or right here at the National Croquet Center, you'd hear the familiar click of a mallet. But if my mother Carla was here, that day, you weren't just hearing the game, you were probably getting a cheerful reminder to finish your registration for the next tournament. Her passion for croquet was the first thing that you learned about her. And if you sat with her long enough, you quickly learned all 124 pages of the USCA rulebook. I'd love to thank the USCA for bestowing your highest honor on her tonight, specifically Randy, Bev, and Tom, for the nomination. It's an honor that she would have worn as proudly as the title of grandmother. Many of you knew about the physical challenges that Carla faced after her car accident in the 1960s. But growing up as her son, I never saw a handicap. I only saw determination. When she first grabbed a mallet at PGA National and found that her hands formed a perfect Solomon grip, she didn't just find a hobby, she found a home. But Carla was also a lifelong organizer. There was no way her involvement was going to stop at the boundary line. She was a PTA president, a Cub Scout master, a lead union negotiator. She was training for this Hall of Fame induction her entire life. I'll never forget my 4th grade Cub Scout Pinewood Derby. With a mechanic for a father, I figured I could at least walk away with best in show. But my mother had her sights set on winning the race as well. When she saw the chaotic way that the fathers that were running the race was being run, she decided that simply would not do. She went home that night to her trusty Apple IIe computer, you know, the black and green old one, and she stayed up all night long designing a custom weigh-in, entry, and bracket system that Troop 123 in Merrick still uses to this day. She didn't just join organizations, she revolutionized them. I also want to give a special thank you to Doug Moore, her brother from another mother, and Justin Burbig, who I believe didn't make it here due to the lovely weather up in the Northeast right now. The second son she never knew she needed. I loved every story she told about you two, of which there were many. And I'm sure that you both also know more about me than you ever wanted to know. Thank you for your friendship. It brings me so much joy to know that she shared her time on and off the courts with people who felt like family. My mother didn't play for the trophies, though she always seemed to find room on the credenza for one more. She played for the community I see under this tent tonight. Having her name on these walls ensures that she will always be part of that game that she loved so much. So the next time you're facing a difficult jump shot or a long hoop, think of Carla, take the risk, enjoy the game, and for gosh sakes, buy a few extra raffle tickets at the next fun night. Thank you.
Just like to present this certificate showing that Carla was very much a part of the croquet world, and we're happy to honor her with this honor. And this is a certificate. Oh. What? Oh, sorry. Thank you.
And it'll be hung proudly in our home in PGA.
Great. Doug Moore.
Hi, everyone. If you look at your playbills, and you will see that Doug Moore is standing in for the role of Dick Brackett tonight. So anyway, I guess that didn't exactly go well as I thought. Anyway, so Dick Brackett acquired this painting in the 1990s in Central Park, and he has graciously donated this to the NCC on behalf of the New York Croquet Club in Carla's honor. So it will be held here and housed here and hung here as well. And just a real quick little bit of history about this painting. Truth be told, model, not croquet players. But in the background is Theo Holcomb, Pat Supper, and Ellery McClatchy, three pretty big-time all-stars of croquet. And it is an honor to represent the New York Croquet Club to present this to the CFA and the NCC. Thank you very much.
Thank you. It will be hung with honor. Where is Frank?
There you are. I'm here. Thank you. And now I'm going to call Jeff Suit, David Maloof, and Chris Bailey.
So there are three main reasons that my good friend of almost 30 years, David Maloof, has earned a place in the Hall of Fame. The first and the most important is that David had the good sense, and that's not usually something I say about David, that he had good sense. He had the good sense to marry Mika without whom I just can't even imagine the wreck that David's life would be. So that's number one. Number two is that David is one of the top coaches that we have in this country, and there are many of you here who can attest to that, and I'm one of the people who can attest to that. To give you an example, he was a coach at all levels of the game. There was a phase 10 or 12 years ago when my game was just really not very good, and I just wasn't performing the way I wanted to be able to, and so I asked David for some help, and he watched me take a few swings, and he gave me a very succinct diagnosis. He said, "Your tempo kind of sucks," which was the problem, and he gave me just a very simple and intuitive solution, just a dead simple drill, but it was exactly to the point, and honestly, it just basically took me half an hour to get back to where I was supposed to be, and that just set me up for the next several years of good play. So that's an ability that is not something that can be taught. It's just something that has to be within you, and David has that. That's why he's such a great coach, that and all of his tremendous patience. And of course, the third reason is that David is one of the best players that the United States has ever produced. And from largely self-taught, and from playing remarkably few tournaments over the years because of his dedication to his coaching jobs, he nonetheless achieved a tremendous amount. A lot of you would have been here almost exactly 10 years ago when David made his way all the way to the finals of the World Championship, the AC World Championship, just with some remarkable matches and some remarkable performances along the way. And those of you who were here watching along were just thrilled, not at all surprised, but thrilled. Everybody that is, except for Mika, who was an absolute nervous wreck the entire week, but there was just an amazing performance, and the first that a lot of you have probably heard of this incredible performer that we have here who's been kind of under the radar for all these years. But a lot fewer of you would have been aware of or would have seen David's debut performance at the McRobertson Shield a few years before that World Championship. I was on that team, and this was held in New Zealand, and this was the debut for all of us of quadway hoops, and they were set on this extremely hard ground, and they were just brutal to play on, and the conditions were difficult, and it was windy, and of course we're playing against the best players in the world, really challenging. And there are a lot of players who, in that environment, the McRobertson Shield, which is the World Team Championship of Association Croquet, anyone who's been through it is going to agree that it is the highest pressure tournament that there is. And a lot of people have gone through that and have basically not really survived the experience, metaphorically speaking. They've come out kind of a wreck. But David, in his debut performance, amassed the best record of anyone on the American team, which is just an incredible performance. And it was just through grinding out match after match and just showing his incredible finesse and his incredible control and the temperament that makes all that possible. So that's an example of his excellent performance. I'm going to share a little bit. Unfortunately, I was not there to see this. I would pay anything to have been there now that I've heard about it. But another distinction that David has that I think very few people can boast, and that is that he was noticed and commented upon by the great John Solomon at a Solomon Trophy, the tournament that is named for him. That's the United States versus Great Britain team tournament in Association Croquet. So that was David's first team tournament. That was the year before the McRobertson Shield. And we told David, this would be a really great experience for you to go over there and play this in preparation for the MAC, so that you have just an understanding of playing against these great players and the kind of tactics and the conditions and the teamwork and all of that. So David had surprisingly little tournament experience for someone playing in that event, again, just because of the way he had structured his croquet life, but we knew he belonged on that team, and he did. He won 3 out of his 5 matches, so it was a great performance. But the point where John Solomon recognized David was after he had made some kind of play, and maybe due to his inexperience, made a tactical choice that wasn't quite right. Like, he had just wired a ball, and then he put his own ball into the balk line. I'm not sure if that was it or not, but it was something along those lines. And John Solomon happened to be there that day. Solomon, toward the end of his life, his vision wasn't very good, so I suspect somebody had to describe to him what had happened. And he commented, apparently in a very loud voice, "Well, that was stupid." So that's a distinction most of us cannot boast. Anyway, I am so privileged to have nominated my very good friend David for this honor, and I'm very grateful that it was accepted. So thank you very much.
This is the moment.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, David, my friend. Okay, I'm gonna go a little bit off script here. They've only given me 5 or 10 minutes. I'm gonna try to stay within that. I'm gonna talk a little bit about what Jeff said at the Solomon, because there's a little more to that story. The leave that I made, if you're not familiar with AC, think about it as the end of your turn. The leave had a little bit of a true distinction. It was probably the worst leave that has ever been accomplished in the game of croquet. It even got named the Maloof Standard Leave, and that's a testament to how bad this leave was. But picture if you're a golf croquet player, picture leaving your turn, promoting your opponent right up in front of the winning wicket where they have this 6-inch shot to go right through the wicket. That's kind of the way this leave was. So it was the Maloof standard leave. If you want to learn that leave sometime, come see me. I'll help you. Jeff, I don't remember you ever paying me for that lesson, but we'll talk about that. Anyway, I want to thank everybody for coming. I've got people that have come from our club in Mountain Lake, our clubs in North Carolina, and, you know, people that have come from Denver and New Hampshire, and this is really special for me to see all of you and have you share this very special moment with me. But most of all, I want to thank my wife, Mika. Jeff does have it right. There really is no secret. I would not be here. I would not be, I don't know where I'd be if it wasn't for my beautiful wife, Mika, 48 years, but she has been the one. I know this is going to come as a shock to most of you, but she's the one that when you send an email to me or a text to me and you get a response, it wasn't me that answered that. It was Mika. If you see an article written by me, it wasn't me, it was Mika. But for 48 years, she's made me look a whole lot better than I could have. So Mika, thank you. The rock of my life, the love of my life, thank you. I do want to share a few stories. I had a list of things I was going to talk about. I see all of these great champions here, and you know, we were talking earlier about some of the shared memories that we had, and I could go on for hours. I promise you I won't. I'll do my best, but there are some moments that I do want to talk about, and one of them, first one was with Jeff. And it happened in the mid-90s. And my first national championship in championship flight. And get through block play. And done pretty well. Won most of my games, 26-15, 26-11, 26-5. And then I look at Jeff's scores. 26-2, 26-3, 26-2, 26-2. And I'm thinking, who is this guy? Who is this monster? And sure enough, we get to the playoffs. Who do I draw? I don't know, first round, second round, but it was Jeff. And I learned very quickly why he won those games, 26-2, 26-3, whatever. This was American six wicket. I might have said association. But there was a reason. Jeff was the first player that I had ever seen that didn't just run breaks. He ran perfect breaks. So if you're an American six wicket or an association player, you know how you can string wickets together. You hit a ball, you get two shots, take those two shots, go up to another ball. With the right patterns, with the right skills, you can string multiple wickets together. Well, Jeff did it perfect. So I was able to run breaks, but watching Jeff run breaks, completely different level. But it was something that I remembered, something that I learned from. So, you know, I may not be smart, but, you know, I do learn from my bumps and bruises. And Jeff, thank you for that lesson, because no will you. But that was my first time meeting Jeff. And, you know, again, that was mid-90s, and you know, we get to through the 2000s, didn't play many tournaments, but I think it was 2011. I was just with Dr. Muhammad Kamal, who brought us the Kamal Cup. For those that don't know, the Kamal Cup is a golf croquet competition between the top American and the top Egyptian players. Well, Dr. Kamal was the one who had the vision to put this together. This was the second annual one. And we were talking about when we first met, and it was at a tournament just south of here, the International Croquet Club, and just a one-court facility, and get there and practice day, and I see this guy just crushing balls. And if you've ever met Sharif and Muhammad, you know how hard they hit the ball. Well, I grew up as an American six-wicket player. American six-wicket, we learned to finesse the ball. We rush a ball up to a wicket, get our 2 shots, go through the wicket, move on to the next one. These guys were crushing it, and I'm thinking, how the hell am I ever going to compete against these 2 guys? But somehow I did, and made it to the finals and met my nemesis, Stephen Mulliner. Stephen, for those that don't know, Stephen's an Englishman. He's the guy that I met in the World Championship finals, but this was the first time. And I get a call from a friend of mine who I knew, and he says, do you know who that's? You're playing in the finals? And he says, that's Stephen Mulliner. He won 5, world championships at Sonoma-Cutrer. And so I'm nervous as hell. And I get out there, and, he wins the first wicket. I win the second wicket. He puts a ball in front of wicket 3, and I hit him almost into the corner. So if you're a golf croquet player, knocked him out of bounds, takes his next shot, and I think he's going to clear me, puts it through wicket 3 and wicket 4, 1 shot. Talk about being intimidated. That's my first experience in golf croquet. First experience playing a world champion. Not a great way to start. He did finish me off. And again, a couple of years later, as Jeff recalled, I played him in final day of my first Solomon, and yes, that's when I left my first Maloof standard leave. Worst leave of all time, in front of the guy whose name is for the grip that a lot of you play, John Solomon. Yeah, that was quite an experience. I'm not going to talk about the World Championship or anything like that. I've had enough of Stephen Mulliner. So we're going to move on. I was talking with Danny a little earlier, and I want to first congratulate the young players on our team, Tom, Matthew, Blake Fields, Ben Rothman, Stephen Morgan, for winning the Open Shot. Again, awesome performance. But what a lot of people don't know is that we didn't always have these young bucks. 2020, we had a team of me and Jeff and Sharif and Danny and Ben Rothman. And Danny and I were talking, and we made the semis. We were 1 shot away from making it to the finals and beating New Zealand. And if we all played the way Danny played, Danny was a dog that tournament. He won almost every match he played. If we all stepped up the way Danny did, you guys wouldn't have been the first American team to win the Open Shot. But anyway, shout out to Danny. That was an awesome performance. I do want to congratulate these players and encourage them for the next journey, because this next summer, these young players that I'm so proud to be a part of, Kyle, my son, Tom Balding, Matthew, Zach, all of the young guns that are going to be taking over the next generation of croquet, excuse me. we need their support and encouragement, and hope that they're gonna bring home the title. So good luck to you guys, and you know, that's been one of my proudest moments, is watching them perform the way they have and doing the things that they have. It has just been an awesome ride. So with that, I'm going to say thank you to everybody that's come and supported us along the way, and you know, I could tell you 100 more stories, but I think it's about time we get on with it. But, you know, thank you to Carla for everything that she's done to Croquet, and thank you to everybody that's come to support both of us here. This means so very, very much to all of us, and please enjoy the rest of the evening. Well, thank you, David. Okay.
So my name is Chris Barley. I'm here with Dick Rendelman. David has taught until he retired at Grandfather Golf and Country Club up in Linville, North Carolina for over 20 years, close to 25 years. I think he took over from Jeff Sue in like 1999 or something like that. And he has influenced and trained so many people to hit it smooth. And so we just wanted to present you with a commemorative picture of the courts where you influenced so many of us for so long. We're just super proud to have been taught by you, to share Rookie of the Year honor with you, right? And your son, and we could not have done this without Mika in the background telling us. So thank you so much, David. Yep. That's from the lower court, looking up.
Yeah, I can tell. Well, again, thank you everybody for supporting us, from coming from long distances and being here to share this magical moment with me and with Carla. I can't tell you how special this is for me to see all of you and have you be part of this experience. Thank you.
It's time to party.
Before we conclude this ceremony, I would like to invite all the Red Jackets to come here for the final picture of all the Hall of Famers, please. Thank you guys, have a great evening. So if you have a red jacket, please come for the picture.